Well, way away from the GOP primary in Illinois, President Obama's home state. This at stake is most of the 69 delegates in Illinois, more than any other state so far this year, except Georgia. As voters prepare to cast their ballots tomorrow, we talk now to one Republican hopeful. Congressman Ron Paul joins us now for an exclusive interview. Congressman, good to have you on the program. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Maria.
So you have less than 1/10 of the delegates that your opponent Mitt Romney has collected. You have failed to win any single state. Given that, how are you going to continue to garner support for your presidential run, or are you considering stepping out, bowing out right now?
No, I'm not doing that because we haven't counted the votes because many of the states that we worked real hard in are in the process of caucusing, and that takes a couple months to work through that. And some of those states that, that they said I did not win, when the votes are counted and the delegates are counted, we may well control those delegations. But, it looks like there's a very good chance that there will be a brokered convention. So if you have 200 or 300 delegates, who knows what kind of a significant role you can play in those circumstances.
But Congressman, I mean, do you worry that you and some of your colleagues, with all of this fighting and back and forth, that you're actually impacting the party, the GOP, negatively and actually hurting what I imagine the goal is here, and that is to beat President Obama? Are you cutting into the credibility of the Republican Party while staying in the race when you don't have the support that some others have, like Mitt Romney?
No, I don't think debating the issues do. I think that's healthy. I mean, the Democrats did it last go around and it didn't destroy their party. But I think the biggest thing is, what is the image of the Republican Party? If the image is that they're promoting only one thing, that Obama is too weak and that we need more war, we need more spending, we need more invasion of our privacy, we need to deal with birth control pills, and on and on. Some of these things I think can hurt, but that's the whole system. But if it's debate of the issues, because I disagree with the other candidates on spending. Actually, I want to cut spending. None of the others have actually indicated they'd cut anything. So I think that is important. That doesn't help Obama. It means that you have to have a debate within the Republican Party. I thought the Republicans, would want somebody that would really want to cut and be conservative and balance the budget. And that, of course, is what my platform is all about.
Would you consider running for vice presidential nomination?
Oh, I wouldn't run for it. No, I wouldn't consider that. I mean,
would you consider? Obviously, no one's going to run for it, but would you consider a vice presidential nod?
Well, considering it is a pretty broad term, you'd consider anything anybody talks to you about. The likelihood is pretty minuscule that it would happen, and it'd be pretty minuscule that the conditions would make me very happy about it, too. But to consider it and talk about it, a reasonable person would always be willing to consider something.
There's talk that you could throw your support behind Mitt Romney if he falls short of the delegates. Any truth to that? Would you consider backing Mitt Romney if, in fact, you were to step aside?
No, like I said, I'd consider certain things, but these rumors that go around, they must be very secretive because nobody's talked to me about it, and I haven't talked to anybody else about it. So there's not a whole lot to that talk.
Congressman, let's get to the issues. Let's get to the issues. I mean, one thing that's really been frustrating me is that all of this fighting back and forth, he said, she said, we're not talking about the issues of the American economy and really what pocketbook issues people want to hear about. So let me get your take on the price of oil and gasoline. Very high levels right now. As president, what would you do to keep prices contained?
Quit inflating the currency, just quit debasing the currency. The other day, when Bernanke was before the committee, we talked about the price of gasoline. I said, well, in terms of a silver dollar that I held up, I mean, it only costs a dime. So it's the money that's going bad. It isn't a sound currency. Prices are actually going down. So you have to quit the spending. You have to quit allowing the Fed to monetize debt. You have to change this whole philosophy that you get out of a debt crisis by having the debt increase exponentially worldwide. That to me is crazy talk. And then they say, why are prices going up? Well, they're going up mainly for the monetary reason, but they're also going up for hindrance to drilling and over-regulation and the various things like that. Those are contributing factors. But the big issue is the devaluation of the currency. So expect energy prices to continue unless we deregulate and allow us to have a sound currency. Then you would have low prices. basis for oil. Oil prices would actually be going down as they have in gold and silver over the last 30, 40 years.
Which is why you've been very critical of the Federal Reserve. And a lot of people would say that the Fed has done a better job than the Treasury and government in terms of getting us out of the economic upset of 2008.
I wonder what statistics they're reading. I mean, the true unemployment rate's close to 20%. Inflation is very, very significant. Debt is exploding, and all we're doing is increasing the amount of regulations. That's Congress's fault. More regulation, whether it's Sarbanes-Oxley or Dodd-Frank or Obamacare. No wonder people don't want to invest. And now there's an international competition for the dollar because other people want to use something other than the dollar. So we're going to lose control of this. We've had some special benefits over these last 40, 50 years by being able to issue the reserve currency in the world. But I see that shifting, and that's going to play havoc with us, and that'll be one of the most important issues that we'll have to deal with.
So let's talk about the unemployment rate. Now, the last check, it was 8.3%. You say it's closer to 20% because it doesn't include the people who have stopped looking. What is your solution to high unemployment?
Well, you have to restore the confidence. That means you have to quit the spending and know that we're not going to just finance debt. We have to get credit to be allocated by the market, not by the Federal Reserve, because the Fed creates credit out of thin air and then allocates it. They send it the wrong way. Then the Congress has controls. You want investments to occur under free markets and under capitalism. You're supposed to save money, have a market interest rates, and then people make their own judgments. But today, that doesn't happen. It's all done through the politicians and the bureaucrats and the Federal Reserve, and that's how we got into the trouble. They create the bubbles, and then they try to get out of the recessions by making a new bubble. And they've been able to do this, pretty well for a while. And they even pulled out of the NASDAQ bubble crash and the housing bubble crash. Nobody can argue they've been successful in these 5 years. Well, I mean, we're just not back building houses again. So I would say that we have a long way to go to recover with the current policies that we have today.
And of course, the Fed has said that they're going to keep rates at record low levels until the end of 2014. So it certainly feels like more to come on that front. We'll be watching you in Illinois. Congressman, good to have you on the program. We so appreciate your time tonight.